Bardock knew that his son was far more powerful than the other children. Because of this, he did not want King Vegeta to learn about his son's true power. So Bardock told everyone that Goku was only a low-class Saiyan. After that, Bardock took Goku back home and kept him hidden from King Vegeta. Raditz was very happy to know that his younger brother was so powerful. One day, Raditz was called away on a mission. At the same time, Bardock noticed a spaceship approaching planet Vegeta. It was none other than Frieza, and he was completely ready to destroy the planet. As soon as Bardock saw Frieza, he rushed home, placed Goku safely inside a space pod, and prepared to send him away. Looking at his son, he said, "Kakarot, you must survive. I am sorry that I cannot be there to protect you, but I promise that if I stay alive, I will come back for you. No matter what happens, you have to live." Then Bardock left alone to fight Frieza and save his planet. However, despite all his efforts, he was unable to stop him. Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta completely, along with Bardock and the rest of the Saiyans. Before dying, Bardock's final words were, "Kakarot, you must survive no matter what." With that, Bardock, King Vegeta, and the entire planet were wiped out. The story then shifts to Earth, where everything was peaceful. One day, a space pod landed in a remote area. A baby's cries could be heard from inside the pod. Grandpa Gohan followed the sound and discovered a small child inside the pod. He decided to take care of the boy and named him Goku. Grandpa Gohan quickly realized that Goku was much stronger than ordinary children, so he brought him to Master Roshi. Even Roshi was shocked by Goku's power and decided to train him and teach him how to control it. 5 years passed. Grandpa Gohan was still alive because Goku had never transformed into a great ape and therefore never harmed him. Goku grew into a calm, intelligent, and kind-hearted child. Grandpa Gohan taught him everything he knew about life, while Master Roshi trained him in martial arts. During this time, Goku also mastered the Kamehameha wave, and his power continued to grow steadily. As the years went by, Goku met many people, such as Bulma, Yamcha, and several other future friends. Eventually, the World Martial Arts Tournament began, and Goku entered the competition. Despite being only 6 years old, he became the tournament's champion. Master Roshi and Grandpa Gohan were extremely proud of him. Afterward, Roshi told Goku that he should go on an adventure to learn more about the world beyond his training. Following his master's advice, Goku set out on a journey. Many things happened during Goku's adventures. One day, he suddenly remembered his father's face and the words Bardock had spoken to him before sending him away. Those memories resurfaced clearly in his mind. "I am sorry that I cannot be there to protect you, but I promise that if I survive, I will come back for you. One day, I will return to you." After that, Goku suddenly remembered that Bardock and Jinny were his real parents. He also remembered their promise that if they survived, they would come back for him. One day, they had never returned. Goku realized that this could only mean that they had not survived. Thinking about it, he said to himself that perhaps he could bring them back using the Dragon Balls. Unfortunately, he would have to wait another year before the Dragon Balls could be used again. Goku then returned to Grandpa Gohan to ask how they had first met. When he arrived, he questioned Grandpa Gohan about his past, but at first, Grandpa Gohan refused to tell him. Goku then explained that all of his memories had returned and that he wanted to use the Dragon Balls to bring his parents back. After hearing this, Grandpa Gohan finally told him the entire story of how he had found him as a baby in a space pod and raised him. He also agreed to help Goku revive his parents if possible. Hearing this made Goku extremely happy. Once the Dragon Balls became active again, Goku gathered all 7 of them and summoned Shenron. The Eternal Dragon appeared before him and asked him to state his wish. Goku immediately said that he wanted his parents to be brought back to Earth. Shenron replied that he could not do that because they had died a very long time ago. Goku then asked if Shenron could simply revive them instead. Shenron explained that he could only revive people who had died within a certain period of time, and Bardock and Jin had been dead for far too long. Therefore, bringing them back was beyond his power. Goku was heartbroken after hearing this and did not know what to do. However, Shenron then explained that while Earth's Dragon Balls could not grant such a wish, there might be other Dragon Balls in the universe capable of bringing his parents back. After granting what help he could, Shenron disappeared and the Dragon Balls scattered across Earth once again. Sometime later, a man named Popo arrived and informed Goku that Earth's guardian wanted to meet him. Goku traveled to meet Kami, who told him that he wanted to train him so that he could gain complete control over his incredible power. At first, Goku did not fully understand why such training was necessary, but he eventually agreed. Kami already knew about Goku's unusual strength and potential, so he personally began training him.
Several years passed. During that time, Goku got married and had a son, whom he named Gohan. One day, a space pod landed on Earth, and a Saiyan warrior named Raditz emerged from it. Looking around, Raditz said that this was the planet where Kakarot had been sent long ago. Using his scouter, he began searching for his brother. He detected several strong power levels in the distance, but they were all far weaker than what he expected. Confused, Raditz wondered how Kakarot's power level could only be around 600. According to everything he knew, Kakarot had been born as the legendary Super Saiyan, and even as a baby, his power level had exceeded 900. Determined to find the truth, Raditz headed toward the strongest power signatures he could detect. Meanwhile, Goku, Gohan, and the others were gathered at Master Roshi's island. Goku suddenly sensed a powerful energy rapidly approaching them. Realizing who it might be, he became serious just as Raditz arrived at Master Roshi's island. Everyone stepped outside as soon as Raditz arrived. Raditz looked at Goku and said, "So, I finally found you, Kakarot." Goku looked confused and replied, "Kakarot? My name is Goku." Raditz sighed and said that it made sense because Goku had been very young when he was sent to Earth. He explained that Kakarot was Goku's real Saiyan name and that they were both Saiyans. However, he was shocked by how weak Goku seemed compared to what he remembered. Goku apologized and said that he had no idea what Raditz was talking about. Then Raditz told him that they needed his help and that he should come with him. Goku firmly refused and said that he was not going anywhere. Since Raditz had come to Earth uninvited, Goku asked him to leave instead. Raditz then revealed that he was Goku's older brother. Hearing this surprised everyone, but they still made it clear that they would not allow Raditz to take Goku away. Grandpa Gohan stepped forward, causing Raditz to become irritated. In a moment of anger, he struck Grandpa Gohan. Seeing this made Goku furious. His power began to rise rapidly and a massive energy started pouring out of him. Raditz's expression immediately changed from anger to excitement. Looking at Goku's growing power, he exclaimed that the rumors were true and that Kakarot really was the legendary Super Saiyan. Goku was about to attack Raditz, but before he could do so, Raditz quickly apologized. He even apologized to Grandpa Gohan for what he had done. After that, Raditz hugged Goku and told him everything about his past, including the truth about the Saiyans, Planet Vegeta, Bardock, and Genie. Hearing the full story left Goku completely shocked. Once he had processed everything, Goku told Raditz about his plan to revive their parents someday. When Raditz heard this, he immediately agreed to help. Instead of leaving Earth, he decided to stay and assist Goku in finding a way to bring Bardock and Gene back. Over time, Raditz grew closer to everyone on Earth and became part of their lives. Meanwhile, on a distant planet, Vegeta noticed that Raditz's communication signal had suddenly disappeared. Assuming that Raditz had been killed, Vegeta mocked him for losing despite being a Saiyan warrior. However, before the communication ended completely, Vegeta had overheard something about the Dragon Balls. This caught his attention. He immediately decided that he and Nappa would travel to Earth to learn more about them. Sometime later, Vegeta and Nappa landed on Earth. Most of Goku's friends did not understand what was happening, but Raditz instantly recognized that the two Saiyans had arrived. Goku, Raditz, and the others headed toward Vegeta and Nappa. When Vegeta saw Raditz alive, he was surprised. He said that it seemed Raditz had changed after meeting his brother. However, Vegeta declared that it no longer mattered because he had no use for Raditz anymore. He gave them a choice: either tell him everything about the Dragon Balls or die. Hearing this, Raditz immediately prepared to attack Vegeta. Before he could reach him, Goku stepped forward and took his place in the battle. A fierce fight began between Goku and Vegeta. After fighting for some time, Vegeta realized that he was being completely overwhelmed. He could not believe what was happening and kept wondering how Kakarot could possibly be stronger than him. Raditz laughed at Vegeta's reaction and asked what had happened to all his confidence. Then he revealed the truth, saying that Kakarot was no ordinary low-class Saiyan. He was the legendary Super Saiyan. Vegeta refused to believe it and shouted that such a thing was impossible. Even so, he swore that he would defeat Goku and prove that he was still the the strongest Saiyan warrior. Vegeta continued attacking Goku with everything he had, but none of his attacks had any real effect. Seeing this only made Vegeta angrier, and he began using stronger forms and techniques to overwhelm Goku. During the battle, Goku faced some difficulty keeping up with Vegeta's increased power, but he responded by raising his own power even further. The gap between them quickly widened, and Vegeta eventually found himself completely outmatched. After his defeat, Vegeta looked at Goku in disbelief and said, "So it's true. You really are the legendary Super Saiyan. I can't believe it." Raditz smiled and said that he had known all along that Kakarot would surpass everyone. He told Goku that he was proud of him. Following the battle, Vegeta decided to join Goku and the others. Then Goku explained his plan to use the Dragon Balls to bring Bardock and Jin back to life. Soon, the group gained another goal in addition to reviving Goku's parents. They wanted to take revenge on Frieza for destroying planet Vegeta. Everyone believed that with Goku, the legendary Super Saiyan, fighting alongside them, no one could stop Frieza's defeat. They began making plans to travel to planet Namek, where they hoped to use the Dragon Balls to fill their wish. Bulma built a spaceship for the journey, and the group set off for planet Namek. However, unknown to them, Frieza was also heading. As soon as Frieza landed on Namek, he sensed the energy of Vegeta and the others and immediately started moving toward them. At the same time, the group sensed Frieza approaching. The Namekians became terrified when they felt Frieza's overwhelming power and begged Goku to protect their planet from him. Goku agreed and confronted Frieza. A fierce and intense battle began between them. For a brief moment, it seemed as though Frieza might actually defeat Goku. However, that situation did not last long. Goku increased his power to an unbelievable level, making it difficult for Frieza to keep up. Finally, Goku unleashed a devastating attack that filled the entire area with dust and smoke. When the dust cleared, Frieza was gone. Seeing this, everyone became extremely happy. The Namekians could hardly believe that Frieza had finally been defeated. They celebrated the victory and thanked Goku for saving them. In gratitude, they told Goku that he could use the Namekian Dragon Balls to make whatever wish he desired. Goku gathered all of the Namekian Dragon Balls and summoned Purunga. After appearing, Purunga told Goku that he could grant 3 wishes. Without hesitation, Goku said that he wanted Bardock and Jinny to be brought back to life. Purunga explained that granting this wish would require 2 wishes because of the special circumstances. Goku agreed immediately. For his final wish, he asked Purunga to bring his parents directly to planet Namek. Using his power, Purunga granted the wishes and then disappeared. Moments later, Bardock and Jinny were revived. The two were confused and could not understand what had happened. Looking around, they wondered how they had suddenly returned to life. Then they turned to their side and saw 2 familiar faces standing before them, Goku and Raditz. Bardock stared in shock and asked Jinny if she was seeing the same thing that he was. Jinny nodded, unable to believe her eyes. The others explained that Goku had revived them using the Dragon Balls and that he was also the warrior who had defeated Frieza. Hearing this left Bardock and Jinny completely stunned. At the same time, they felt an enormous sense of pride in their son. Bardock looked at his family and said, "I can't believe it. After all these years, I am finally together with my family again." For the first time since the destruction of planet Vegeta, the entire family was reunited, and the future looked brighter than ever. Suddenly, an energy blast shot toward the group from above. Piccolo quickly pushed everyone out of the way and took the attack himself. When everyone looked up, they were shocked to see Frieza standing there. He was badly injured, but he was still alive. Goku stared at him in disbelief and said, "Frieza, how are you still alive? I thought I had defeated you." Bardock became furious the moment he saw Frieza again. Frieza laughed and declared that he would erase all of them once and for all. Without wasting any time, he launched another attack. This time, the attack struck Raditz directly. Before anyone could react, Frieza killed Raditz right in front of everyone. Watching his brother die, Goku completely lost his composure. Bardock was also consumed with rage and was about to attack Frieza himself, but everyone suddenly noticed that something strange was happening to Goku. A massive battle erupted between Goku and Frieza. At first, Goku endured all of Frieza's attacks, but after some time, Frieza began gaining the upper hand. The two warriors exchanged countless blows, and the shockwaves of their battle were so powerful that Bardock and the others were forced to retreat to a safer distance. After fighting for a while, Frieza noticed that Goku was beginning to overwhelm him. In response, Frieza increased his power to 50% and attacked once again. Even after Frieza powered up, Goku quickly regained control of the battle and started dominating him again. Goku continued increasing his strength and attacked Frieza relentlessly. Frieza was completely shocked. He could not understand how Goku was releasing so much power. Even while using his golden form, Frieza was still being pushed back. Realizing the situation, Frieza admitted to himself that he could not maintain that form forever and would have to defeat Goku as quickly as possible. Determined to win, Frieza released 80% of his power and launched a furious assault. The attacks caused massive damage, and Goku struggled to fight back effectively. Then, during the chaos, an energy blast exploded near Genie. Dust and debris filled the area. Goku believed that the attack had struck his mother directly. Until that moment, he had still been holding back a portion of his power, but after seeing this, he completely lost control.
An unimaginable amount of energy burst out of Goku. The power he released was on an entirely different level, causing the whole planet to shake violently. At that exact moment, the scene shifted to the world of Beerus. Beerus had been sleeping peacefully, but the instant he sensed Goku's power, he woke up immediately. Curious, he began watching the battle between Goku and Frieza. Whis noticed Beerus's sudden awakening and asked why he had risen so early. Beerus replied that he had sensed a very familiar power. Looking at the battle, Whis was surprised and asked what he was seeing. Beerus explained that Frieza was fighting a mortal warrior. Whis wondered what kind of mortal could possibly challenge Frieza on equal footing. Then, Beerus remembered that Frieza was supposed to have been defeated already and questioned how he had survived. As Beerus and Whis continued watching, Beerus felt something strangely familiar about Goku. He said that the feeling coming from Goku was exactly what had awakened him. When Whis asked what he meant, Beerus admitted that he did not know for certain. He only felt that something very dangerous was about to happen. Because of that feeling, Beerus decided that they needed to go to the battlefield immediately. Whis agreed, and the two of them departed at once. Meanwhile, the battle between Goku and Frieza continued. Frieza had suffered severe injuries from Goku's attacks and was struggling to maintain his golden form. Frustrated and desperate, he shouted, "How is this possible? How is he becoming stronger and stronger?" Realizing he had no other option left, Frieza decided to unleash everything he had. Looking at Goku, he said, "So, monkey, you want to see my full power? Fine." With that, Frieza began powering up to 100%, and his energy illuminated the entire planet with blinding light. Frieza emerged from the blinding light, his body surrounded by an even greater golden aura. The moment Goku saw him, he rushed forward and attacked. However, this time, none of Goku's attacks had any effect. Frieza easily grabbed Goku by the face and dragged him across the ground, smashing him from one place to another. Goku struggled desperately to break free, but he could not escape Frieza's grip. Frieza laughed and said, "Finally, goodbye, monkey. I never thought you would force me to use 100% of my power. You are the first and last person who has ever pushed me this far." With those words, Frieza fired a powerful energy blast directly into Goku's face. Afterward, he confidently turned away and began walking toward the others. Pointing his finger at them, he fired energy blasts while slowly advancing with a cruel smile. Suddenly, Frieza sensed something behind him. He turned around and was shocked by what he saw. Goku had somehow stood back up, even though he appeared to be in an unconscious state. More importantly, the energy coming from him was completely different from before. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Vegeta, Bardock, and the others stared in disbelief. Bardock asked what kind of form this was, while Vegeta admitted that he could not understand it either. Ever since Goku had stood up again, his energy had changed completely. It was as if he was no longer fighting consciously. At the same time, Beerus and Whis, who were traveling toward the battlefield, sensed Goku's new power. Beerus was stunned. The energy felt strangely familiar to him, yet he could not remember why. He urged Whis to move faster because something important was happening. Meanwhile, Frieza attacked again, but Goku completely avoided and blocked every strike. Then Goku launched a single energy blast that sent Frieza flying across the battlefield. Blood poured from Frieza's mouth, and he could not understand how one attack had caused so much damage. Enraged, Frieza attacked even more aggressively. However, Goku completely dominated the fight. As the battle continued, Frieza's condition worsened. Eventually, he collapsed onto the ground, badly injured. Goku slowly walked toward him, preparing to finish the battle. But just as he approached, Goku suddenly fell to the ground. No one understood what had happened. Frieza, barely able to stand, struggled back to his feet. Laughing madly, he created a giant energy sphere and prepared to launch it at Goku. Before Frieza could attack, an energy blast suddenly came from nowhere and pierced straight through his chest. Frieza immediately fell to the ground. Everyone looked up and saw a mysterious figure floating in the sky. No one knew who he was or what he wanted. The mysterious man looked at Goku and said that he needed to take him away immediately, but he doubted that the others would allow it. The stranger then moved toward Goku. Seeing this, Vegeta and Bardock rushed forward to stop him. However, the mysterious warrior was incredibly powerful. Within seconds, he completely overwhelmed both of them. After that, he used a strange technique that paralyzed everyone nearby. Unable to move, they could only watch as he walked toward Goku. As the mysterious figure reached Goku, everyone became even more frustrated. He gently lifted the unconscious Goku into his arms and said, "Farewell, mortal." Then he began leaving with him. However, before he could escape, Beerus and Whis appeared and blocked his path. For the first time, the mysterious man looked surprised. He stared at Beerus and Whis as they stood before him. The stranger asked who they were. Beerus calmly replied that there was no need for him to know. The mysterious figure remained silent for a moment before giving a chilling warning. He said, "Just remember this, the time of all of you will come to an end very soon." With those ominous words hanging in the air, the confrontation between the mysterious warrior and the newly arrived Beerus was about to begin. Beerus looked at the mysterious warrior and said, "Would you mind putting that mortal down? I have many questions to ask him. Put him down, or who knows, I might accidentally kill both of you." The mysterious man smirked and replied, "It seems you still haven't changed, Beerus." Beerus responded that enough talking had been done and ordered him to move aside. The stranger asked why Beerus thought he would simply let him leave. Suddenly, Beerus grabbed his head and began screaming in pain. He looked confused and angry as he wondered what had just happened to him. Taking advantage of the moment, the mysterious warrior tried to leave. However, Whis quickly moved in and attempted to stop him. For a brief moment, the stranger's attention was diverted, allowing Beerus to land an attack. During the distraction, Whis managed to take Goku away from the stranger and place him safely beside Vegeta and the others. The mysterious warrior became furious after being struck by Beerus. He shouted that he would never forgive him and that no one would be able to save Beerus now. The warrior prepared a powerful energy blast and was about to attack. However, for unknown reasons, he suddenly canceled the attack. After a moment, he said, "It seems my time had run out." He warned Beerus that he was leaving for now, but the next time they met, he would definitely take Goku away, and no one would be able to stop him. With those final words, the stranger opened a dimensional portal and disappeared into it. As time passed, the pain in Beerus's head slowly faded away. Then Whis asked what had happened to him. Beerus admitted that he did not know why he had suddenly felt that way. Meanwhile, everyone else was badly injured from the battle, so Beerus ordered Whis to heal them. Whis used his abilities and quickly restored everyone to full health. After being healed, Bardock asked who Beerus and Whis really were. Whis smiled and explained that Beerus was the god of destruction of their universe. Hearing this left Bardock completely confused. Then Whis explained what a god of destruction was and revealed that he himself was an angel. Bardock was amazed by this information and asked why such important beings had come all the way there. Whis replied that they had arrived because of the strange power Goku had displayed during his battle. Bardock wanted to know more about those mysterious powers, but Beerus admitted that even he did not understand what they were. Soon afterward, Whis picked up Goku and prepared to leave with him. Seeing this, Vegeta immediately asked where they were taking Kakarot. Whis explained that they intended to train Goku so they could learn more about his unusual abilities. As soon as Vegeta heard this, he requested to join the training as well. The recent battles had made him realize that there were beings in the universe far stronger than he had ever imagined. He was frustrated that he had been unable to contribute much during the fight and wanted to become stronger. Beerus initially refused, but Whis suggested that having another fighter around could be useful for Goku's training. After thinking about it, Beerus finally agreed. Then, Whis brought both Goku and Vegeta to Beerus's world. During the journey, Goku finally woke up after being unconscious for so long. His mind was filled with questions, but Whis patiently answered them and cleared up his doubts. Eventually, they arrived on Beerus's world where their training began. Once there, Whis started by giving Vegeta basic training exercises while personally training Goku himself. Whis told Goku to attack him with his full power. Goku transformed into his controlled legendary Super Saiyan and launched an assault. After observing him for a while, Whis asked him to use the same mysterious power he had displayed against Frieza. Goku admitted that he had no control of that power at all. Whis reassured him and said that there was nothing to worry about, because even if he lost control on Beerus's planet, it would not cause any serious problems. Encouraged by those words, Goku agreed and began releasing more and more of his energy. Gradually, his power started going out of control once again. From a distance, Beerus quietly watched everything unfold. Meanwhile, Goku completely lost control and began attacking Whis with overwhelming force. Whis calmly received and blocked Goku's attacks for some time before finally speaking, realizing something important about the strange power hidden within him. Whis observed Goku's power and said that it was incredible. He believed that if Goku learned to control it properly, his strength could increase tenfold. To stop Goku from completely losing control, Whis knocked him unconscious. Meanwhile, Vegeta, who was undergoing basic training, asked Whis to make his training much harder. Whis agreed and significantly increased the difficulty of Vegeta's training. 6 months passed. During that time, Goku learned to control his power all the way up to legendary Super Saiyan 3. Vegeta also made tremendous progress and managed to unlock Super Saiyan God. After completing their training, the two Saiyans decided to return to Earth and spend time with their families. When Goku arrived, he received a huge surprise. Using Earth's Dragon Balls, everyone had managed to revive Raditz. Seeing his brother alive again made Goku extremely emotional, and he immediately embraced him. At the same time, Vegeta went to speak with Nappa. After that, both Goku and Vegeta continued living peacefully on Earth with their loved ones. Elsewhere, Whis asked Beerus why he had decided to send Goku and Vegeta back to Earth. Beerus explained that the main reason was to observe Goku's mysterious power again and hopefully discover why it felt so familiar to him. However, despite all their efforts, they still had not found any answers. Beerus then brought up the mysterious warrior and admitted that he had no idea who he was, but he was certain that the stranger knew something extremely important. Whis then asked if that was the reason Beerus sent Goku back to Earth, hoping that the mysterious warrior would appear again. Beerus confirmed that this was exactly his plan. Back on Earth, Goku was spending time with his family when he suddenly sensed a familiar presence. He immediately stepped outside and discovered that the mysterious warrior had returned. Just as before, the stranger had come to take Goku away. The moment he saw him, Goku charged forward and attacked. During their battle, Vegeta sensed the stranger's energy and rushed to join the fight. Goku launched numerous attacks, but the mysterious warrior effortlessly blocked every one of them. The stranger calmly told Goku that such attacks would never be enough to harm him. He then challenged Goku to use his full power. Accepting the challenge, Goku transformed into legendary Super Saiyan 3 and attacked with everything he had. The mysterious warrior admitted that Goku had become much stronger since their last encounter. The two exchanged powerful blows, shaking the battlefield. Soon, Vegeta arrived as well. At first, it seemed impossible for him to keep up with their battle, but he simply smiled and transformed into Super Saiyan God. Seeing Vegeta's new form shocked everyone. Raditz stared in disbelief and said that he could not even sense Vegeta's power anymore. Vegeta joined Goku in fighting the stranger. The mysterious warrior remarked that Vegeta
Vegeta had also grown much stronger since their previous meeting. Confidently, he declared that he would show them which one of them was truly superior. Goku and Vegeta attacked together. Both had become far stronger than before, yet neither of them could inflict significant damage on their opponent. During the battle, the mysterious warrior suddenly swung his blade and struck Vegeta, sending him crashing to the ground. Seeing Vegeta injured filled Goku with anger, and he attacked even more fiercely than before. As the battle continued, the mysterious warrior finally spoke again. He praised their incredible power and said that they had earned at least one answer from him. He revealed his identity, introducing himself as Fu. Even after revealing his identity, it did not seem like Fu was fighting seriously. While Goku and Vegeta were becoming exhausted from the battle, Fu looked completely relaxed, as if the fight had barely affected him at all. After that, Goku and Vegeta combined their strongest attacks and unleashed a powerful final energy blast. Fu received the attack directly. It managed to damage him slightly, but it did not cause any serious injuries. Looking at them, Fu said that this apparently was the limit of their power. He admitted that their strength was impressive by mortal standards, but it was still nowhere near enough to defeat him. Before they could react, Fu suddenly appeared in front of Vegeta and struck him with a devastating attack. Vegeta crashed to the ground in terrible condition. Fu then moved toward Goku and attacked him as well. After taking the hit, Goku was badly injured, but somehow he still managed to remain standing. Seeing this, Fu complimented him and said that he had not expected Goku to stay on his feet after receiving such an attack. Fu then announced that it was time for him to leave. He opened a dimensional portal, but before he could enter it, the portal was suddenly destroyed. Fu was shocked. However, he was not surprised because the portal had been destroyed. What truly shocked him was the fact that he had not sensed the arrival of Beerus and Whis at all. He could not understand when they had arrived. Beerus told him that they had been there for quite some time and asked if he had really failed to notice them. Fu refused to believe it and insisted that they must have just arrived. Then he realized something even stranger. He could no longer sense the source of his power. Confused, he demanded to know what they had done to him. Beerus calmly replied that they had done nothing to him directly. They had simply severed the connection between him and the dimension from which he had been drawing his power. Fu was stunned and demanded to know how they had discovered that secret. Beerus replied that he did not need to know that. Instead, Beerus wanted answers about why Fu was so interested in Goku. Fu refused to tell them anything. Hearing that, Beerus prepared to erase him with Hakai. However, before he could attack, the Grand Priest contacted Whis and ordered them to come immediately. Because of this, Beerus canceled his attack. Beerus and Whis then took Fu with them and traveled to the Grand Priest's palace. Once they arrived, the Grand Priest looked at Fu and said that if he remembered correctly, Fu was connected to Nurko's faction. The Grand Priest was surprised that Fu was still alive after all this time. Fu replied that the Grand Priest did not need to concern himself with that matter. Hearing his response made the Grand Priest slightly irritated. At the same time, Beerus asked who Nurko was. Whis admitted that even he did not know much about Nurko. The Grand Priest then explained that Nurko was actually Zeno's older brother. Millions of years ago, Zeno's father had destroyed Nurko and all of his followers. However, nobody knew how Fu had survived. Whis then added that if he remembered correctly, Fu possessed the ability to travel through dimensions. The Grand Priest corrected him and explained that Fu did not actually travel through dimensions. Instead, he traveled through the spaces that existed between dimensions. This revelation shocked everyone. The Grand Priest explained that only a handful of beings were capable of using such a method. The fact that Fu was still alive suggested something far more dangerous. If he had survived, then it was possible that other members of Nurko's faction had survived as well. Because of this possibility, Fu was taken to a secure room and imprisoned so that he could be questioned later. Afterward, the Grand Priest summoned Goku to the palace because he wanted to understand why Fu had been pursuing him. Whis went to Earth and brought Goku back. Looking at Goku, the Grand Priest admitted that Goku's power felt strangely familiar. It reminded him of Nurko's energy. This confused him greatly because there was no obvious reason why a mortal's power should resemble that of a divine being like Nurko. The Grand Priest continued thinking about the mystery. He said that there had to be some kind of connection between Goku, Fu, and Nurko. Although he could not yet see the full picture, he was certain that all of these events were
linked together in some way, and uncovering that connection would reveal the truth behind everything that was happening. The Grand Priest and the others continued discussing Goku's mysterious power. Someone asked why Goku's energy felt so familiar if they had never personally known Nurko. The Grand Priest replied that there was a reason for that, but it was not yet the right time to reveal it. When asked what he meant by the right time, he explained that if Nurko was truly alive, then the entire multiverse was in danger. According to him, there would be no one capable of stopping Nurko if he returned. Until now, everyone had believed that Nurko was dead. However, after seeing Fu alive, it had become clear that something was happening behind the scenes. What confused them even more was that Goku, immortal, possessed a power that seemed strangely similar to that of a divine being like Nurko. While they were discussing this mystery, the scene shifted to Earth. On Earth, Vegeta was spending time with the others when another unknown warrior suddenly appeared. Without any warning, the stranger attacked Vegeta. Furious, Vegeta immediately transformed into Super Saiyan God and fought back. However, despite all of his efforts, he was unable to land a single hit. The mysterious warrior then used a strange technique that instantly rendered Vegeta unconscious. Gohan and the others rushed forward to help, but they quickly suffered the same fate as Vegeta. Before anyone else could interfere, the stranger took Vegeta and disappeared. Meanwhile, at the same time, another attack occurred at the Grand Priest's palace. Beerus and Whis were shocked that someone had managed to enter the palace without permission. The moment the Grand Priest saw the intruder, he became very serious and stated that their suspicions had been correct all along. Nurko and his followers were still alive. Whis asked what the Grand Priest meant. The Grand Priest explained that the intruder was none other than Jewelry, Nurko's right-hand man. Before anyone could fully process this revelation, Beerus rushed forward and attacked him. However, it was already too late. With a single strike, Jewelry severely injured Beerus. Seeing this confirmed all doubts in the Grand Priest's mind. There was no question that this was truly Jewelry, which meant Nurko must be still alive somehow. Jewelry calmly greeted the Grand Priest and Zeno. He remarked that it had been a very long time since they had last seen each other. He guessed that they were wondering how they and the others had survived. Then he revealed a shocking truth. According to him, most of Nurko's followers were still alive, and Nurko himself was among them. Hearing this left the Grand Priest and Zeno completely stunned. After making his declaration, Jewelry began walking toward Goku. The Grand Priest immediately stepped in front of him and demanded to know why he was so interested in a mortal. Jewelry smirked and asked if the Grand Priest truly wanted to die during their very first meeting. The Grand Priest replied that whether Jewelry explained himself or not, he would never allow him to take Goku away. The Grand Priest admitted that they did not know the full truth yet, but they had already figured out that there was some connection between Goku and Nurko. Jewelry responded by saying that once Lord Nurko awakened, none of them would remain alive. When the Grand Priest questioned him, Jewelry revealed that Nurko had been sleeping for millions of years, but his awakening was finally approaching. With that warning, Jewelry charged toward the Grand Priest, and a fierce battle began between them. Realizing the situation was becoming extremely dangerous, Zeno quickly opened a portal and instructed Whis to take Goku into it. Zeno explained that they still did not know exactly what Nurko's followers wanted with Goku, so Whis was not to leave that dimension until he was specifically told to do so. Whis immediately followed the order and prepared to protect Goku. Meanwhile, back at the palace, the battle between Jewelry and the Grand Priest continued to intensify. Their clash shook the entire area as two incredibly powerful beings fought, while the fate of the multiverse slowly moved toward an uncertain future. As the battle continued, the Grand Priest slowly began landing attacks on Jewelry. After receiving those attacks, Jewelry admitted that this was exactly what he expected from the teacher of Zeno. However, he added that it was time for him to show a little of his own power as well. Confidently, he declared that no matter how hard the Grand Priest tried, he would never be able to defeat him. The Grand Priest calmly replied that they would see about that. The fight intensified. This time, the Grand Priest attacked with even greater speed and precision than before. Strangely, Jewelry neither counterattacked nor attempted to defend himself. Sensing that something was wrong, Zeno tried to warn the Grand Priest to stop attacking. Unfortunately, it was already too late. The Grand Priest's attack connected directly with Jewelry. It caused a reasonable amount of damage, but in the very next moment, all of Jewelry's wounds completely healed. The Grand Priest and Zeno were both confused by what they had just witnessed. Seeing Jewelry standing there calmly, the Grand Priest attacked again with even greater speed and power than before. But Jewelry continued absorbing or enduring every attack without difficulty. Each time Jewelry was injured, his wounds instantly healed. The Grand Priest and Zeno became increasingly confused. This time, Zeno warned the Grand Priest not to approach Jewelry directly anymore. Meanwhile, Jewelry slowly advanced toward the room where Goku was being kept. Unable to stop himself, the Grand Priest moved to intercept him once again. Just as before, the moment he touched Jewelry, another explosion occurred. The entire impact struck the Grand Priest, while Jewelry remained unaffected. Jewelry continued walking toward Goku's room. Realizing they needed a different approach, the Grand Priest used a special technique that trapped Jewelry inside a powerful barrier. Despite all of Jewelry's efforts, he was unable to escape. Watching him struggle, the Grand Priest finally felt relieved and believed they had successfully stopped him.
However, Jewelry suddenly began laughing. He placed one hand on the barrier and an enormous explosion erupted from his body. The shield shattered completely. Everyone was stunned. They could not understand how he had managed to break through such a powerful technique. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the Grand Priest looked towards Zeno. Zeno silently nodded, giving him permission to use his full strength. The Grand Priest closed his eyes and focused all of his energy. Then he began releasing power on a completely different level from anything seen before. Even Jewelry was shocked by what he was witnessing. He could not believe how much stronger the Grand Priest had become since their last encounter. The Grand Priest's power spread throughout the entire multiverse. Every universe felt the overwhelming energy. Gods, angels, and mortals alike were left speechless. No one could identify whose power it was because nobody had ever witnessed the Grand Priest using his full strength before. Even Goku and the others who were far away sensed the terrifying energy and immediately recognized that something extraordinary was happening. The Grand Priest then attacked at full speed. This time, he completely overwhelmed Jewelry, striking him repeatedly without pause. As the assault continued, the Grand Priest told him that although he could convert pain into power, he doubted Jewelry could continue enduring attacks like this forever. Jewelry was eventually left in terrible condition. Seeing an opportunity to finish the battle, the Grand Priest began preparing an immensely powerful final attack. After gathering enough energy, he unleashed it directly at Jewelry. However, just before the attack could connect, another figure suddenly appeared. The newcomer grabbed Jewelry and escaped through a portal, disappearing before the attack could hit. Although the attack missed its target, the released energy still caused severe damage to the palace. Fortunately, Zeno repaired everything instantly with a single gesture. Soon afterward, powerful beings from all the universes arrived at the palace. Everyone was asking the same question: whose incredible power had they sensed across the multiverse, and what had happened at the Grand Priest's palace? The Grand Priest answered everyone's question and revealed that the immense power power they had felt belonged to him. Hearing this shocked everyone. They immediately asked what kind of situation had forced him to release power on such a level. The Grand Priest then explained everything about Nurko and his followers. Everyone was stunned by the revelation because none of them had known that Zeno had an older brother. The fact that Nurko and his followers had apparently returned after all this time made the situation even more alarming. Despite the bad news, there was one positive outcome. Nurko's followers had failed to capture Goku. One of the gods of destruction then asked what was so special about this mortal that so many powerful beings were trying to take him away. The Grand Priest admitted that they did not know the full truth yet. However, Goku's power was extremely similar to Nurko's energy. What they still could not understand was how a mortal could possess divine energy, resembling that of such a powerful being. Afterward, Goku and the others were brought back to the palace. As everyone observed him, they could sense a faint trace of divine energy within him. This only strengthened their suspicions that Goku had some connection to Nariko. The Grand Priest stated that until they discovered the truth, Goku would remain under their supervision. He also announced that he would personally train Goku so he could gain complete control over his mysterious powers. According to the Grand Priest, if Goku learned to fully utilize those abilities, he could become vastly stronger than he already was. Once the meeting ended, all of the gods of destruction, angels, and Supreme Kais returned to their respective universes. However, while everyone was focused on Goku, something unexpected was happening elsewhere. Unknown to anyone, Vegeta had been secretly kidnapped and taken away. When Vegeta finally regained consciousness, he found himself in a strange and unfamiliar place. His hands and feet were tightly bound. Sitting beside him was Fu. Fu remained completely silent, saying nothing. Furious, Vegeta immediately began struggling against his restraints and trying to free himself. Fu calmly told him that there was no point in trying because he would never be able to break free. Hearing him speak, Vegeta demanded to know why he had been brought there. Fu replied that if it were not for Vegeta's power, there would have been no reason to bring him at all. This answer only confused Vegeta further. He asked what power Fu was talking about, but Fu refused to explain and said that Vegeta did not need to know. A little later, one of Fu's servants entered the room and informed him that all of the preparations had been completed. Fu nodded and took Vegeta to another chamber. The room was completely empty except for the two of them. Once inside, Fu strapped Vegeta to a chair so he could not move. After securing him, Fu used his staff to open a dimensional portal. From inside the portal, a strange sphere of energy slowly emerged. Vegeta stared at it in confusion. However, that energy sphere was not just an ordinary source of power. It was actually Nariko himself. During his ancient battle against Zeno's father, Nariko had been reduced to this weakened state, and ever since then, he had remained trapped between life and death, waiting for a chance to return. At that moment, Fu brought the sphere of energy directly in front of Vegeta. Slowly, the energy ball began merging into Vegeta's body. As more and more of the energy entered him, Vegeta started screaming in pain. The process was extremely painful, and his cries echoed throughout the room. Once the transfer had begun, Fu left Vegeta behind and stepped outside. As soon as he exited, another character approached him and asked how everything had gone. Fu replied that so far, everything was proceeding according to plan, but the final result would not be known for another 3 hours. The other character asked whether they believed the revival would succeed this time. Fu answered that it certainly looked promising. After some time, the sounds coming from Vegeta's room suddenly stopped. Meanwhile, during Goku's training, he finally managed to draw out the divine energy hidden within him. However, he could only maintain that form for a few seconds before losing it again. The Grand Priest had no idea what had happened to Vegeta back on Earth. Around that time, Goku requested that Vegeta, Bardock, and his brother Raditz also be given training. The Grand Priest thought about the request for a moment and then said that he would not train them personally. Instead, Whis would be responsible for their training. He contacted Whis and asked him to train the 3 Saiyans. After agreeing, Whis prepared to leave for Earth. Before he could go alone, Beerus decided that he would accompany him. Together, Beerus and Whis departed for Earth. Back at the palace, Goku's training resumed. the Grand Priest told him that gaining control over his mysterious power was absolutely necessary. According to him, nobody could even imagine how powerful Goku could become if he fully mastered it. Hearing this, Goku closed his eyes once again and concentrated with all of his focus. Despite his efforts, he was unable to activate the divine power at all. Seeing this, the Grand Priest changed his approach. He instructed Goku to attack him with all of his current strength. Following the order, Goku transformed into legendary Super Saiyan 3 and charged forward. His speed and power were far beyond those of any normal mortal. However, as expected, he was unable to land even a single successful hit on the Grand Priest. Then the Grand Priest told Goku to combine his Super Saiyan 3 form with Kaioken and attack again. Goku followed the instruction and launched another assault. This time, his speed and power increased dramatically. Even so, he could not maintain the form for very long. His stamina quickly ran out, and he reverted back to his base state. Before Goku could rest, the Grand Priest immediately continued attacking him. Surprised, Goku asked for a little time to recover his stamina. The Grand Priest refused and explained that Goku would have to continue fighting even with no stamina left. According to him, forcing Goku into such an extreme situation would push his body beyond its limits and compel it to awaken and use the divine energy hidden deep within him. With no other choice, Goku continued fighting while completely exhausted. As the pressure increased and his body reached its breaking point, he slowly began approaching the state that the Grand Priest had been trying to unlock all along. After arriving on Earth, Beerus and Whis learned everything that had happened. They discovered that Nerko's followers had come to Earth and kidnapped Vegeta. This confused everyone because the enemy had previously been obsessed with capturing Goku, yet this time they had taken Vegeta instead. Since Bardock and Raditz had been unable to do much during the previous battles, they approached Whis and Beerus and personally requested training. Whis explained that training them had actually been one of the reasons he and Beerus had come to Earth. However, before anything else, they needed to inform the Grand Priest about Vegeta's disappearance. Whis contacted the Grand Priest and explained everything that had happened. Even the Grand Priest was confused about why Nerko's followers had suddenly chosen Vegeta. When Goku asked what they were going to do to save him, they first attempted to sense Vegeta's energy. Unfortunately, it seemed that Fu had taken him into the dimensional gap, making his energy impossible to detect. Then the Grand Priest revealed that he knew someone who could travel through the dimensional gaps. He sent Beerus and Whis to find that person and begin the search for Vegeta. Meanwhile, Goku's training resumed. The Grand Priest tried to train him as quickly as possible because he felt they might not have much time left. Nobody knew when the next attack would come. As the training continued, Goku recovered some of his stamina. This time, however, the Grand Priest attacked him with even greater speed and power. His goal was to push Goku into using the divine energy hidden within him. After spending so much time fighting the Grand Priest, Goku had begun to understand parts of his fighting style. Because of this, even in his Super Saiyan forms, he was now able to counter some of the Grand Priest's attacks.
The Grand Priest was surprised by Goku's progress. In such a short amount of time, Goku had already started reading and adapting to his fighting style. To test him further, the Grand Priest completely changed the way he fought and attacked again. As expected, Goku immediately began struggling once more. Seeing this, the Grand Priest told him to activate Super Saiyan 3 again, because otherwise he would not survive even a few seconds. Goku increased his power and transformed once more. As the training continued, his battle experience kept growing. Soon he began understanding the Grand Priest's new fighting style as well. Despite that progress, Goku still could not land a single successful attack. Time passed and his stamina began running out again. Determined to make one final attempt, he suddenly combined Super Saiyan 3 with Kaioken and launched a desperate attack. The Kaioken caused Goku's speed to increase dramatically. For the first time, he managed to land a successful hit on the Grand Priest. However, immediately afterward, he collapsed to the ground from exhaustion. Looking at Goku's condition, the Grand Priest admitted that he had seen great potential in him.
He had believed Goku would be able to control the mysterious power hidden inside him. Unfortunately, he had not even managed to activate it properly. The Grand Priest turned to leave, but suddenly he sensed an enormous amount of energy behind him. At the same time, Beerus and Whis were searching for the individual the Grand Priest had told them about. Eventually, they found the person and explained that they were looking for Vegeta, who had likely been taken into the dimensional gap. The moment the stranger heard the words dimensional gap, he strongly advised them not to go there. According to him, it was an extremely dangerous place filled with dark energy capable of killing even powerful beings. Seeing how worried he was, Whis revealed his identity and explained that the Grand Priest himself had sent them. Whis also warned that if they did not act quickly, the entire multiverse could be placed in danger. Hearing this convinced the stranger to help them. Together, they immediately set out for the dimensional gap. Meanwhile, inside Nerko's palace within the dimensional gap, Fu and one of his servants were discussing the revival process. They hoped that Lord Nerko would finally be revived successfully this time. According to them, if Nerko's essence was accepted by Vegeta's body, it would make the process much easier. After that, only half of Nerko's remaining power would need to be restored.
Suddenly, an enormous amount of energy began pouring out of Vegeta's room. Vegeta screamed in agony as the power continued rising. Fu smiled and announced that the final stage of the process had begun. Soon they would know whether the experiment would succeed or fail. The energy being released was so immense that even Beerus and Whis, who had already entered the dimensional gap, sensed it immediately and rushed toward its source. Meanwhile, Vegeta continued screaming in pain as the mysterious process reached its climax. Meanwhile, all of Fu's servants were waiting anxiously for Nerko's revival to succeed. After some time, the screams from Vegeta's room suddenly stopped. The enormous energy that had been pouring out also disappeared completely. When everyone entered the room, they saw Vegeta lying motionless on the ground. He was not even breathing. Seeing this, Fu became deeply saddened, and several of the servants even began crying, believing that the revival process had failed. At that very moment, Beerus and Whis arrived at the palace. As soon as they entered, they noticed that everyone seemed depressed and heartbroken. The moment Fu saw Beerus and Whis, his sadness turned into anger. He immediately rushed forward and attacked them. Beerus was surprised after receiving the attack because Fu's power had increased many times over compared to before. Soon, a battle broke out between them. At the beginning of the fight, Fu gained the upper hand and launched a relentless assault. However, after fighting for a while, he realized that his attacks were having almost no effect. Beerus then began counterattacking. Within a short time, Fu's condition became much worse. Looking at him, Beerus mocked him by saying that he had expected a better fight. According to Beerus, Fu had completely disappointed him. Beerus then prepared a massive Hakai energy sphere and was about to finish the battle. Suddenly, an extremely dark and dense aura began spreading throughout the palace. The pressure of this energy was so overwhelming that most of the servants instantly fell to their knees. Instead of being frightened, Fu became excited. He declared that the revival had finally succeeded. Beerus and Whis did not understand what he meant at first. Then a figure slowly emerged from inside the palace. The energy and presence radiating from this person were so immense that even Beerus felt uneasy for a moment. The individual was none other than Nerko himself. After millions of years, Nerko had finally returned. He had been revived by taking over Vegeta's body and using it as his new vessel. At the same time, far away, Goku finally succeeded in gaining control over the divine energy hidden within him. During his training with the Grand Priest, he managed to awaken and use that power properly for the first time. When the Grand Priest turned around and saw Goku standing there surrounded by divine energy, he was astonished. The Grand Priest immediately praised the power. He admitted that he had not expected Goku to become so strong. In fact, with this level of power, Goku could now compete with even a god of destruction. Wanting to test the transformation, the Grand Priest attacked him. However, Goku's speed had increased several times over. He effortlessly dodged the attack. The Grand Priest did not stop there. He launched a continuous barrage of attacks, but Goku calmly avoided every single one of them. Watching Goku's movements, the Grand Priest was
was extremely impressed. He complimented Goku and admitted that he had not expected such a dramatic increase in speed.
The Grand Priest told Goku to attack him so he could measure how much his power had improved. Goku instantly appeared in front of him and threw a powerful punch. The Grand Priest dodged and counterattacked immediately. This time, Goku failed to evade the strike and received a heavy blow to his stomach, forcing him to step backward. Before Goku could fully recover, the Grand Priest attacked again. However, this time, Goku successfully dodged the attack. At that moment, the Grand Priest realized that Goku's speed had not only increased dramatically, but that his reactions and combat instincts had reached an entirely new level. The training had finally begun to show its true results. The Grand Priest quickly realized that Goku had not yet mastered his new power completely. At the moment, Goku could either focus on attacking or on dodging, but he could not properly do both at the same time. For example, during his last attack, Goku had managed to strike at the Grand Priest, but because he was focused on attacking, he failed to dodge the counterattack. Seeing Goku's situation, the Grand Priest explained that mastering this new power would require more time. Since the power had awakened so suddenly, Goku's body was still struggling to handle it properly. With that understanding, the training continued. Meanwhile, in the dimensional gap, nobody knew what was happening inside Nurko's palace. Suddenly, Beerus and Whis sensed an incredibly powerful energy. Immediately realizing something was wrong, they rushed to the palace. Upon arriving, they found themselves fighting Fu once again. During the battle, Fu noticed that none of his attacks were having any real effect on Beerus. Then, without warning, a dark and evil aura began spreading from inside the palace. The energy was so immense that it covered the entire palace. Out of that black aura emerged Vegeta. However, something was clearly different about him. The pressure radiating from Vegeta was overwhelming. Even Beerus and Whis felt their bodies reacting to the terrifying energy. Beerus was about to say something when Vegeta casually raised one hand and launched what appeared to be an ordinary energy sphere. Despite its simple appearance, the attack's power was immense. Beerus was blasted backward instantly, crashing through a wall and being thrown outside the palace. Seeing this made Beerus furious. He could not believe that a mortal had sent him flying so easily. He immediately charged back toward Vegeta and prepared to attack. However, Vegeta's expression darkened. Using a strange technique, he instantly paralyzed Beerus's entire body. Watching this happen left Whis completely stunned. As far as he knew, Vegeta was still just a mortal, so none of this should have been possible. Whis stepped forward and demanded to know what was happening and why Vegeta was acting this way. However, Vegeta did not answer. Instead, Fu suddenly walked forward, dropped to one knee in front of him, and respectfully said, "It is good to see you again, my lord." Hearing those words, Whis finally began to understand what was really happening. At the same time, he was confused by how such a thing could occur within the body of a mortal. After struggling for a while, Beerus finally broke free from the paralysis. He immediately demanded to know where Jewelry was. The being inside Vegeta's body explained that Jewelry had been severely injured during his battle with the Grand Priest. They had brought him back to the palace and tried everything possible to save him, but he had died from his injuries. The moment he heard this, Vegeta's body erupted with rage. The entire palace began shaking violently. He declared that the same thing had happened before, that his enemies had taken someone important from him in the past, and now Jewelry had been taken from him as well. His anger continued to rise, causing his power to surge even further. Without hesitation, Beerus launched a Hakai attack at him. As the destructive energy rushed forward, Vegeta did not move from his position at all. Instead, he casually destroyed the Hakai energy sphere with a simple gesture. Witnessing this left Beerus completely confused and shocked. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Beerus immediately attacked at full speed, determined to find out exactly what had happened to Vegeta and what kind of being now existed within his body. Despite all of Beerus's efforts, he was unable to land even a single attack on Vegeta. Seeing Beerus struggle, Whis joined the battle and attacked Vegeta as well. After fighting against both Beerus and Whis for some time, Vegeta, or rather Nurko, realized that his new body was still unable to utilize his full power. Meanwhile,
Far away, Goku continued training with the Grand Priest and was gradually gaining better control of his divine energy. At that moment, Zeno contacted the Grand Priest and ordered Goku to bring him to the palace immediately. Following Zeno's instructions, the Grand Priest stopped the training session and traveled with Goku to the palace. Upon arriving, he asked why they had been summoned so urgently. Zeno explained that he had suddenly sensed Nurko's power. The Grand Priest assumed that the energy Zeno had felt must have come from Goku, since Goku had recently learned to control his divine energy at will. However, Zeno became slightly confused because the power he had sensed had actually come from Vegeta inside the dimensional gap, not from Goku. The reason nobody else had sensed it properly was because the dimensional gap functioned differently from normal reality and had a completely different energy flow. Zeno, however, knew Nurko better than anyone and immediately recognized the power. In his mind, there was no doubt that Nurko had truly returned. The Grand Priest decided not to dwell on the matter any longer and instead congratulated Goku on gaining control over his new power. While this conversation was taking place, Beerus and Whis were having an increasingly difficult time inside Nurko's palace. Nurko looked at them and said that after sleeping for millions of years, he expected them to become much stronger than they were. Nurko claimed that their weakness was not really their fault. According to him, they had chosen to stand with the wrong side. He told them that if they had followed him instead, they could have obtained everything they ever desired. Unfortunately for them, they had made the wrong choice. Nurko then declared that all divine beings throughout the multiverse would soon be wiped out. This time, according to him, nobody would be capable of stopping him. Hearing those words made Beerus furious. He immediately attacked Nurko with his full power. Before the attack could reach its target, however, Fu casually stepped forward and blocked it. Nurko then began walking toward his chamber and calmly ordered Fu to eliminate the god of destruction while allowing Whis to live. He wanted Whis to spread the news throughout the multiverse that Nurko had finally returned. Fu accepted the order without hesitation. Beerus could not understand what had happened. The attack he had launched had contained his full power, yet Fu had stopped it with only one hand. Seeing Beerus's confusion, Fu laughed and asked why he looked so shocked. Fu then explained the truth. According to Fu, none of Nurko's followers had been fighting at full strength until now. To keep Nurko alive inside a hidden dimension, they had all been forced to dedicate 80% of their power to maintaining that dimension. Since Nurko had finally been revived, they no longer needed to waste their energy sustaining it.
Beerus and Whis were completely stunned by this revelation. Beerus immediately called it a lie because it seemed impossible that the opponent who had fought the Grand Priest earlier had only been using 20% of his actual strength. Fu simply laughed and told him to believe it or not because that was the truth. With that, Fu attacked Beerus once again. Just as he had claimed, his power had increased tremendously. Beerus now found it difficult even to counter Fu's attacks. Watching Fu overpower him made Beerus even angrier. In response, he created an enormous Hakai energy sphere and hurled it high into the air, preparing to unleash a level of destruction that would shake the entire battlefield. However, Fu calmly sliced through Beerus's attack with his sword. Seeing this left Beerus completely shocked. At the same time, Whis made a decision. He realized that they needed to leave immediately because if they stayed any longer, Fu could kill both him and Beerus at any moment. At the moment, Fu seemed to be showing off his power rather than fighting seriously, but nobody knew when he might decide to stop holding back. Because of this, Whis began waiting for the perfect opportunity to escape with Beerus. As the battle continued, Beerus noticed something unusual. Fu's attacks were gradually becoming slower. Because of this, Beerus was having an easier time countering. Seeing the change, Beerus laughed and mocked him. He said that he thought Fu was supposed to be much stronger than this. Meanwhile, Fu silently realized the truth. His power had not yet fully recovered, and he still needed more time. Even so, he believed he had enough strength left to eliminate a god of of Destruction. Deciding to end the fight, Fu began concentrating all of his remaining energy into a single attack. The enormous power gathering around him shocked everyone watching. Beerus immediately understood that Fu had not been lying about his strength. Refusing to admit defeat, Beerus also gathered all of his remaining power into a massive energy sphere. Both warriors then launched their attacks directly at each other. The two energy attacks collided, causing the entire palace to begin collapsing under the pressure. At first, the clash seemed balanced, but gradually Fu's attacks started pushing Beerus's energy sphere backward. Realizing what was happening, Whis prepared to retreat with Beerus. However, Fu noticed his intentions. He poured even more power into his attack, completely overpowering Beerus's energy sphere. Before the attack could strike Beerus, Whis rushed forward and created a powerful barrier. Even so, the pressure from Fu's attack was so overwhelming that the barrier slowly began cracking apart. Before Whis could think of another solution, Fu launched a deadly follow-up attack. The strike cut deeply across Beerus's chest, leaving a large wound and causing blood to pour out. Before Fu could attack again, Whis trapped him inside a powerful shield. He then ordered the traveler accompanying them to take Beerus and leave immediately. Following the instruction, the traveler escaped with the injured Beerus. Meanwhile, Fu desperately tried to break free from the shield. Because his stamina had been completely exhausted during the battle, he was unable to escape. Seeing himself trapped filled Fu with rage. He shouted that Whis would not leave alive. Whis calmly replied that as long as Lord Beerus reached safety, he did not care what happened to him. He even declared that he was willing to sacrifice his own life for Beerus if necessary. Hearing those words only made Fu even more frustrated. He promised that he would not simply kill Whis. Instead, he would make him suffer so much that death would seem preferable. While this confrontation continued, Beerus successfully escaped from the dimensional gap. The traveler brought him directly to Zeno's palace. When Zeno and the others saw Beerus's condition, they were completely shocked. They immediately rushed him into a private chamber so that he could receive treatment and be healed as quickly as possible. Back in the dimensional gap, Fu continued struggling against the shield. Eventually, he gathered enough strength to shatter it. The moment he escaped, he immediately realized that Beerus had already fled the dimensional gap. Furious that his enemy had escaped, Fu prepared to make his next move while the conflict between Nurko's forces in the multiverse continued to grow more dangerous than ever before. After that, Fu began taking out all of his frustration on Whis. However, before he could do much, he suddenly became dizzy. His power had been drained almost completely from the previous battle. Because of this, he ordered his guards to take Whis away and lock him up. Fu told Whis that he would deal with him later, because for now, he needed rest himself. With that, Fu headed back toward his room. As for Whis, there was a reason he had not fought seriously. If he truly wanted to, he might have been able to defeat Fu and escape. However, Whis chose not to do that. Instead, he quietly allowed himself to be captured and handed over to the guards. Meanwhile, back at Zeno's palace, the Grand Priest was still focused on healing Beerus. At that moment, the mysterious traveler who had helped Beerus spoke up. He politely asked for permission to leave. Zeno agreed, and the traveler departed from the palace. After he left, Goku asked whether Lord Beerus would recover. The wound on Beerus's chest had looked extremely serious. Zeno replied that Beerus would eventually be fine, but something about the situation still did not make sense to him. The Grand Priest then explained that Beerus's physical wounds had already healed completely, but he still had not regained consciousness. According to the Grand Priest, Beerus simply needed more time. Once he woke, they would finally be able to learn what happened during the battle and what had become of Whis. The Grand Priest admitted that something felt wrong because Whis had not returned with Beerus. Meanwhile, back at Nurko's palace, Nurko entered Fu's room and immediately demanded to know what had happened. Seeing Nurko unexpectedly appear startled Fu. Nervously, he admitted that the god of destruction had escaped, although he had successfully captured the angel. Hearing this instantly angered Nurko. Nurko reminded Fu of the orders he had been given. He had specifically instructed him to kill the god of destruction and allow the angel to leave. Fu immediately began apologizing. Nurko told him that because of his carelessness, they would now have to deal with the god of destruction separately. Worse still, Fu himself would be responsible for correcting that mistake. Wanting to change the subject, Fu respectfully asked if he could ask a
question. Nurko allowed him to continue. Fu then pointed out that it seemed Nurko had not noticed something important. Hearing that, Nurko became curious and asked what he meant. Fu reminded him about the battle against Nurko's father and brought up the existence of the Supreme Destroyer. Nurko immediately remembered. Fu then explained that if he was not mistaken, Beerus was actually connected to that Supreme Destroyer and carried a portion of its essence. Hearing this revelation even further, as Nurko confirmed that it might indeed be true. Nurko then explained why Beerus was such a problem. If Beerus truly possessed a connection to the Supreme Destroyer, he could become a major obstacle to their plans. That was exactly why Nurko had ordered Fu to kill him. Fu apologized again, but confidently promised that the next time they met, he would not allow Beerus to survive. Nurko then asked what had been done with Whis. Fu replied that the angel had been locked inside a secure room. After hearing that, Nurko nodded and said that this might actually work in their favor. By holding Whis captive, they could force the Grand Priest to come to them. With that thought in mind, Nurko left the room while his plans for the future continued to take shape. At the same time, back at Zeno's palace, Beerus finally began to regain consciousness, setting the stage for the others to learn the truth about everything that had happened inside the dimensional gap. After some time, the Grand Priest asked Beerus who he had fought and what had happened to Vegeta. Beerus then explained everything from the very beginning. He revealed that Nurko had been revived and that he had returned using Vegeta's body as his vessel. Hearing this left everyone completely shocked. The Grand Priest immediately questioned how such a thing could be possible. According to him, Vegeta was only a mortal, and his body should not have been capable of containing Nurko's power. The Grand Priest added that if it had been Goku instead, it would have made more sense, because Goku already possessed a portion of Nurko's power. However, he could not understand how Nurko had been revived inside Vegeta. Beerus assured him that he was completely certain. He explained that when Nurko emerged from his chamber, the dark and dense aura surrounding him was so overwhelming that simply standing in his presence had affected his entire body. Everyone then looked toward Zeno, who had become unusually serious. Zeno said that this meant his older brother Nurko had truly returned. He realized that the power he had sensed earlier had belonged to Nurko, not Goku. However, Zeno believed Nurko was probably not yet at full strength because a portion of his power remained sealed within Goku. Beerus disagreed. He reminded everyone that he had attacked Nurko with one of his strongest techniques, yet Nurko had erased the attack effortlessly with a single gesture. Hearing this, the Grand Priest asked what they should do next. Zeno replied that if Nurko's royal guards had also returned, then they needed to prepare for a massive war. The mention of royal guards surprised Beerus, who asked what Zeno meant. Zeno explained that Nurko possessed 3 royal guards who were among his most powerful followers. He then asked Beerus if he had seen any of them during the battle. Beerus answered that he had not. This confused Zeno. If Nurko had truly returned, then his royal guards should have appeared as well. Their absence made him doubt whether Nurko had fully revived. At the same time, Beerus remembered hearing Fu mention that they only needed to recover the other half of Nurko. Hearing this, the Grand Priest began thinking deeply about what that statement could mean. The Grand Priest wondered if perhaps only half of Nurko's essence was sealed within Goku. However, that still did not explain why Nurko had been revived inside Vegeta or how such a thing had been accomplished. According to him, the only way to find the truth was to go directly to Nurko's palace. Hearing this, the Grand Priest asked Zeno if he planned to go there personally. Zeno immediately refused. He said there was no need for him to take such a risk because the Grand Priest could investigate instead. Furthermore, Whis was still being held captive, so the Grand Priest could gather information about both Whis and Nurko's plans. With that decision made, the Grand Priest began preparing for the journey. Meanwhile, back at Nurko's palace, Fu approached Nurko and requested permission to leave. Nurko granted it, but reminded him to complete the mission properly this time. He also ordered Fu to bring back the other half of his power. Until the remaining portion was restored, Nurko explained that he would be unable to revive his royal guards. Fu accepted the order without hesitation. Fu then opened a portal with his sword and stepped through it. On the other side, he arrived near Goku's location. At the same time, the Grand Priest left Zeno's palace and headed toward the dimensional gap. Unlike most beings, he did not need anyone's assistance to travel there and entered it through his own power. While searching for
for Fu, the villain eventually arrived on Goku's planet. There he found Goku continuing his training while Beerus rested nearby. The moment Beerus sensed Fu's energy, he immediately woke up and looked toward the sky. Seeing that Beerus had fully recovered from his injuries, Fu smiled and remarked that it was good to see him heal. Then Fu declared that before taking the mortal with him, he would enjoy playing with Beerus a little more. With those words, the two warriors once again began fighting. Meanwhile, deep within the dimensional gap, the Grand Priest finally arrived at Nurko's palace, bringing the story one step closer to its next major confrontation. After arriving at the palace, the Grand Priest came face to face with Nurko. Seeing him, Nurko smiled and said that it was quite surprising to see the Grand Priest arrive without an invitation. He added that it was actually good timing because they had been planning to summon him anyway. The Grand Priest replied that many of them had refused to believe Nurko had truly returned, but after sensing his power and pressure firsthand, there was no doubt left. However, one thing still confused him. He wanted to know how Nurko had managed to revive himself inside the body of a mortal. That person was Goku, and only because Nurko's energy had been inside him since childhood. Hearing this, Nurko became curious and asked what he meant by handling his power. The Grand Priest revealed that Goku had learned to use Nurko's power at will. The moment Nurko heard this, he became serious. He thought to himself that he had never imagined a mortal would be capable of controlling his power. Nurko immediately realized that he would need to reclaim that power from Goku as soon as possible. Otherwise, it could become a major obstacle to his future plans.
Nurko then thanked the Grand Priest for the information and changed the subject. The Grand Priest demanded to know where Whis was being kept. Nurko casually replied that he was simply making proper use of Whis' power. When the Grand Priest asked what he meant, Nurko explained that his royal guards had sacrificed themselves long ago to save him. Because of that, he was using Whis' power to help revive them. He admitted that Whis alone would not provide enough energy, but every bit would help. Nurko also claimed that this had never been his original plan. According to him, Whis had remained there of his own choice, so Nurko decided to make use of the opportunity. Hearing this greatly angered the Grand Priest. He reminded Nurko that he had warned him before never to lay a hand on any angel because their power belonged only to him. As the conversation continued, the Grand Priest learned more about what Nurko had been doing with Whis, which only increased his anger. Nurko noticed the Grand Priest's reaction and told him to calm down. He admitted that he had no interest in fighting right now because he knew he could not defeat the Grand Priest in his current state. He even offered to let Whis leave with him. However, Nurko warned that the day he obtained the Omni King's power would be the day none of them would survive. After saying this, Nurko smiled confidently. The Grand Priest immediately suspected that Nurko was hiding something. He told Nurko that he would not fall into any trap because that smile clearly meant there was more going on than he was revealing. Nurko then ordered one of his guards to bring Whis. A short time later, Whis arrived completely unharmed. Seeing Whis in perfect condition confused the Grand Priest. Nurko laughed and admitted that he had only been joking, with no immediate reason to stay. The Grand Priest took Whis and left Nurko's palace. During the journey back, the Grand Priest asked Whis whether he had discovered anything about the royal guards. Whis replied that he had searched the entire palace, but had found no trace of them. This only deepened the mystery. The Grand Priest could not understand how Nurko planned to revive his royal guards if they were nowhere to be found. He asked Whis if he had noticed anything else unusual, but Whis answered that nothing else had stood out. After a moment, Whis asked his father a question of his own. He wanted to know why the Grand Priest had not fought Nurko. According to Whis, the Grand Priest should have been able to defeat him easily. The Grand Priest shook his head and said that the situation was not that simple. While Nurko was currently weaker than him, he could not be certain what the outcome of the battle would have been. The reason was that there was someone else present at the palace besides Nurko. That hidden factor was enough to make the Grand Priest cautious, suggesting that there were still secrets within Nurko's forces that had yet to be revealed.
"What do you mean?" Whis asked. The Grand Priest explained that he had sensed the presence of a third individual. Whoever that person was, they were extremely skilled at hiding themselves. When he first arrived at Nurko's palace, he had not sensed them at all. However, when he increased his own power, that hidden individual became excited and
and accidentally revealed their presence for a brief moment. Hearing this shocked Whis. He said he could not believe there was someone even the Grand Priest had failed to detect at first. The Grand Priest replied that whoever that being was, they were certainly not ordinary. Their greatest disadvantage was that they knew absolutely nothing about this mysterious figure. During Nurko's previous reign, there had been no one like this standing beside him. Whis then asked what they planned to do next. The Grand Priest answered that their first priority was protecting Goku. If Goku fell into Nurko's hands, defeating him would become almost impossible. After that, they would need to launch a full-scale attack on Nurko's palace with complete preparation. Before Nurko could make his move, they needed to make theirs. Unfortunately, they did not realize that Nurko was already one step ahead of them. His lost power was slowly returning to him. Meanwhile, on another world, Beerus and Fu were still engaged in battle. Their speed was incredible as they exchanged attacks non-stop. Watching from below, Goku was amazed by the sheer power and impact of their fight. Seeing Goku's excitement, Beerus warned Goku not to do anything foolish. He told Goku that his safety was far more important and ordered him to leave to Zeno's palace immediately. Goku replied that he only wanted to help. Beerus insisted that leaving would help him more than anything else. Taking Beerus's words seriously, Goku attempted to use instant transmission to teleport away. To his surprise, the technique failed. Confused, Goku wondered why he could not use instant transmission. Fu laughed and explained that before arriving, he had placed a barrier around the entire planet to prevent Goku from escaping. While Fu was talking, his attention drifted for a moment. Beerus instantly took advantage of the opening and landed a powerful punch directly to Fu's face, sending him crashing into the ground. Beerus did not stop there. He followed up with a barrage of energy attacks that devastated the surrounding area. A few moments later, Fu rose back to his feet and wiped the blood from his face. He admitted that even though Beerus possessed only a small fragment of the Supreme Destroyer's power, he was still incredibly strong. Hearing the term Supreme Destroyer confused Beerus, who asked what Fu meant.
Fu simply replied that it did not matter whether Beerus remembered or not. With that, he charged forward and resumed his assault. His attacks became increasingly aggressive, making it difficult for Beerus to defend himself. Finally, Fu landed a devastating kick to Beerus's stomach, sending him crashing into the ground below. Seeing Beerus injured, Goku could no longer stand by and watch. He transformed into a Super Saiyan and rushed into battle. He attacked Fu continuously, but after a short while, he realized that none of his attacks were having any effect. Without hesitation, Goku powered up further and transformed into Super Saiyan 3. The transformation dramatically increased Goku's speed and strength. This time, Fu was forced to actively defend himself against Goku's attacks. Even so, he was still able to dodge most of them. After fighting for some time, Goku realized he had no other choice. He activated the new power he had recently gained. The moment Goku entered his new form, Fu was stunned. He could not understand how Goku was able to use that power. Before Fu could figure it out, Goku appeared in front of him in an instant and delivered a crushing punch directly to his face. Watching from below, Beerus was completely shocked. He immediately recognized the energy surrounding Goku. It was divine energy. Staring in disbelief, Beerus wondered how a mortal like Goku had managed to obtain and control such a power. Meanwhile, Fu explained that throughout history, everyone who had tried to use those powers had eventually lost control of their minds. According to him, the power brought out the darkness, hatred, and negative emotions hidden deep inside its user. He claimed that the same thing had happened to Goku's friend. Hearing this immediately alarmed Goku. He demanded to know what Fu meant and what exactly had happened to Vegeta. Fu stopped himself and said that he had already revealed too much. Declaring that it was time for them to leave, he suddenly appeared behind Goku in the blink of an eye and launched an attack. Goku was shocked by Fu's speed, but he still managed to dodge the strike. Seeing Goku react successfully, Fu admitted that he had not expected him to do that. Then he challenged Goku to see how he would handle what came next.
Fu charged forward again at an unimaginable speed. A fierce battle erupted between the two as they exchanged attacks continuously. Their movements were so fast that even Beerus was completely amazed. He had never seen a mortal fight at such a level before. The fact that Fu could battle evenly against someone using Naruko's power made the situation even more unbelievable. After observing Goku for a while, Fu admitted that he had not expected him to use Naruko's power to such an extent. Fortunately for Fu, Goku still did not have complete control over. Even so, Fu admitted that defeating him was becoming troublesome. Deciding that the fight had gone on long enough, Fu prepared to use a unique technique to end the battle. The moment Beerus saw what Fu was about to do, he immediately understood his intentions. Without hesitation, he launched a Hakai energy attack toward Fu, forcing him to abandon his technique and defend himself instead. Fu became annoyed and declared that it seems he would have to deal with Beerus first. Beerus welcomed the challenge and announced that he would finally fight seriously. Fu mocked him, asking whether becoming serious would really make any difference. In response, Beerus began releasing more and more of his true power. His energy increased to such a degree that destruction started spreading throughout the area. Witnessing this, Goku was astonished. He finally realized that Beerus had not been fighting at full strength before. This, he thought, was the true power of a god of destruction. At the same time, the Grand Priest returned from the dimensional gap and reported his findings. He confirmed that Naruko had truly been revived. However, he also explained that Naruko was not yet at full strength. Hearing this, Zeno asked whether they should attack immediately. The Grand Priest advised against it. He revealed that he had sensed the presence of a mysterious new being inside Naruko's palace. The Grand Priest explained that he could not even determine what that being was. While he was inside the palace, he hadn't sensed the individual's presence at all. Only when he released more of his own power did the mysterious being accidentally reveal itself for a brief moment. If that person had not exposed themselves, the Grand Priest would never have known they were there.
Zeno then turned to Whis and asked whether he had discovered anything. Whis replied that he had searched the entire palace, but found nothing unusual. This answer made Zeno increasingly concerned. He felt that something about the situation was wrong. It almost seemed as though Naruko's forces wanted them to attack the palace. Since they knew nothing about the hidden individual, launching an assault now would place them at a major disadvantage. Because of this, Zeno immediately ordered Whis to bring Goku to the palace. They could not afford to take any risks. As soon as he received the order, Whis departed for Beerus's planet. Meanwhile, Beerus continued releasing more of his power against Fu. Watching this, Fu also powered up. Seeing the immense amount of energy Fu released, Goku realized that Fu had not been fighting seriously against him either. The battle escalated dramatically. Beerus and Fu charged at each other once more, beginning a deadly clash. Within seconds, they exchanged countless attacks. The shock waves and force generated by their battle were so intense that Goku struggled just to remain standing. At that very moment, Whis, who was on his way to Beerus's planet, sensed the enormous power being released. Whis immediately realized that Beerus was engaged in a serious battle. Shocked by the level of power he was sensing, he wondered who could possibly force Beerus to unleash such strength. Understanding the urgency of the situation, Whis accelerated to full speed and rushed toward the battlefield. Back on the planet, the fight continued to intensify. Beerus slowly began gaining the upper hand, forcing Fu onto the defensive. Fu found it increasingly difficult to counter Beerus's attacks. Realizing that he was being pushed back, Fu grew angry and started increasing his power even further, preparing to take the battle to an entirely new level. However, Lord Beerus did not give Fu any opportunity to power up further. He relentlessly continued attacking without pause. While defending against Beerus's assault, Fu finally spotted an opening and immediately struck Beerus in the stomach with a powerful kick. To his surprise, the attack had almost no effect. Beerus instantly grabbed Fu's leg and unleashed a barrage of energy blasts at point-blank range, sending Fu crashing into the ground.
Beerus did not stop there. He quickly followed up by creating a massive energy sphere and launching it directly at Fu. Seeing the enormous attack rushing toward him, Fu was unable to react in time and was struck head-on. The impact devastated the entire planet. Moments later, Fu was shown standing amidst the destruction. Bad badly injured but somehow still conscious. Both Goku and Beerus were shocked that he could remain standing after taking such a powerful attack. Seeing Fu still alive, Beerus immediately rushed in for another attack. Before he could reach him, however, Fu suddenly lost consciousness and collapsed to the ground. At that exact moment, Whis arrived at the battlefield. Looking around, he saw that nearly the entire planet had been destroyed. Beerus ordered him to capture Fu. Following the command, Whis sealed Fu inside a powerful restraint and bound him with special chains that would prevent his power from fully recovering. After securing Fu, Whis began healing Beerus. Meanwhile, back at Zeno's palace, the Grand Priest and Zeno were discussing their next move. During the conversation, the Grand Priest suddenly announced that he had an idea. Curious, Zeno asked what it was. The Grand Priest suggested that they might still be able to stop Nurko. The Grand Priest explained that Nurko had not yet fully revived. Because of that, they might be able to use the Super Dragon Balls to eliminate him before he regained his complete power. Zeno thought about the proposal for a moment and agreed. The Grand Priest then gathered all of the Super Dragon Balls and immediately summoned Super Shenron. Once Super Shenron appeared, the Grand Priest made his wish. He requested that Nurko be completely erased from existence. To everyone's shock, Super Shenron replied that such a wish was impossible. Hearing this left both Zeno and the Grand Priest stunned. Zeno immediately asked why it could not be done. Super Shenron then gave an even more confusing answer. He stated that Nurko did not exist. After saying this, Super Shenron disappeared. The statement left both Zeno and the Grand Priest completely bewildered. They could not understand what it meant or why Super Shenron had responded that way. Returning to the palace, they discussed the mystery further. Zeno asked once again about the being the Grand Priest had encountered inside the dimensional gap. The Grand Priest explained that he had met Vegeta directly, but the power being released from him was unquestionably Nurko's. This only made the situation stranger because according to everything they knew, no one except Nurko should be capable of controlling that power. The Grand Priest agreed and admitted that Super Shenron's answer had raised more questions than it had answered. Suddenly, he remembered something important. He suggested that they seek out the Masters, believing they might possess answers to the mysteries surrounding Nurko. Zeno agreed, and the two prepared to leave for another journey. Meanwhile, back on Beerus's planet, Whis had completely restored the world after the battle. Beerus was extremely exhausted from using so much power and returned to his room to rest. Watching the fight between Beerus and Fu had inspired Goku. Remembering Fu's words about not fully controlling his new power, Goku decided to begin training on his own. Sometime later, Fu regained consciousness. He quickly realized that he had been imprisoned inside a powerful barrier. Furious, he struggled to break free. However, the more he fought against the chains, the more of his energy they absorbed. Even so, Fu managed to summon his sword. Using it, he shattered both the barrier and the chains that restrained him. The moment the shield broke, Whis sensed it and rushed over immediately. Unfortunately, he arrived too late. Fu had already escaped. Looking at the empty prison, Whis was left confused. He could not understand how Fu had managed to break through a barrier created by him, nor could he comprehend how Fu had disappeared so completely without leaving any trace behind. Fu had already knocked Goku unconscious and was about to take him away. However, Whis arrived at exactly the right moment and stopped him. Fu knew that in his current condition, he could not defeat Whis, so instead of wasting any more time, he immediately escaped through a portal. At the same time, the Grand Priest and Zeno arrived before the Master Dragons. After greeting them, Zeno immediately asked about Super Shenron's statement that Nurko did not exist. The Master Dragons replied that Super Shenron had spoken the truth. Nurko did not exist. Hearing this shocked the Grand Priest.
who asked whose power he had sensed coming from Vegeta if Nurko was not real.
The Master Dragons then revealed something even more surprising. They explained that the being everyone believed to be Vegeta was not actually Vegeta at all. The Grand Priest was stunned and argued that he was certain the power belonged to Nurko. The Masters explained that the power was merely an illusion and that the being was actually a member of the Arai clan. This revelation shocked everyone because the Arai clan was believed to have been completely wiped out long ago. The Masters clarified that a few members of the clan had survived. After hearing this, Zeno realized that his older brother had never truly been revived. The mystery of the missing royal guards finally made sense. When the Grand Priest asked Vegeta's whereabouts, the Masters explained that Vegeta and several others were being held captive in a separate dimension. Armed with this information, Zeno and the Grand Priest returned to their palace. Soon after arriving, Whis contacted the Grand Priest and reported everything that had happened on Beerus's planet. Upon hearing the news, Zeno immediately ordered Whis to bring Goku to the palace. While this was happening, Fu returned empty-handed to the dimensional gap. Seeing him fail, the mysterious being who looked like Vegeta spoke coldly. He reminded Fu that he had been given a simple task, yet he had failed to complete it. Fu apologized and admitted that he had underestimated the destroyer. The mysterious being replied that Fu had become weak over the millions of years and could not even kill a single destroyer. He then declared that it seems he would have to go himself. Fu was shocked and asked if his lord truly intended to go himself. The being simply answered yes. Meanwhile, in another dimension, the real warrior of Universe 7 lay unconscious on the ground. Suddenly, Vegeta sensed an incredibly powerful being approaching at high speed. He instantly woke up and prepared himself for battle. However, when he saw the attacker, he was completely stunned. Standing before him was none other than Frieza. Vegeta could not believe his eyes. He immediately asked how Frieza was alive, since Fu had supposedly killed him. Frieza looked confused and asked what Vegeta meant and how Vegeta even knew him. Without waiting for an answer, Vegeta charged forward and attacked. Frieza, not understanding the situation, responded with a powerful punch that sent Vegeta flying. Frieza became angry because of Vegeta's strange behavior and launched a relentless assault. During the battle, Vegeta noticed that he could easily counter all of Frieza's attacks. However, Frieza seemed to have trouble dealing with Vegeta's blows. This made Vegeta wonder who Frieza really was, since he never expected a mortal to possess such incredible power.
Deciding to get serious, Frieza powered up and transformed into his next form. Seeing Frieza increase his power, Vegeta transformed into a Super Saiyan. In his mind, Vegeta reflected on how he had only managed to reach the Super Saiyan state despite all his efforts. Nevertheless, he refused to give up and vowed that he would eventually surpass everyone. Frieza was shocked to see Vegeta become a Super Saiyan. He could not understand how such a thing was possible because according to his memories, he had personally killed all of them. Vegeta found Frieza's behavior extremely strange and began wondering whether something had happened to Frieza's memory during a previous battle. The fight intensified. Vegeta rushed forward in his Super Saiyan form and attacked Frieza. The two exchanged countless blows in a fierce battle. Frieza attacked continuously, but Vegeta calmly countered every strike. Then, Frieza launched a powerful energy attack. Vegeta dodged it successfully, but in the very next moment, Frieza appeared beside him at incredible speed and delivered a devastating kick that sent Vegeta crashing into the ground. Frieza gave Vegeta no time to recover and immediately began bombarding him with countless energy blasts. The area was soon covered in dust and smoke from the relentless attacks. However, when the smoke finally cleared, Frieza was shocked to see that Vegeta had taken no damage at all. Vegeta smirked and said, "Did you really think attacks like those could hurt me? It's actually good that you're still alive because I want to kill you with my own hands. I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to us." Frieza laughed and replied, "Just because you survived my attacks, do you think you can defeat me? It seems I need to show you the true terror of Lord Frieza." With that, Frieza attacked again with even greater speed and force. In only a few seconds, he launched countless attacks. At first, Vegeta had trouble dealing with them, but as time passed, he gradually began understanding Frieza's attack patterns. Because of that, countering Frieza became easier, although Vegeta still could not find an opening to land a decisive blow. Seeing this, Frieza mocked him. "What happened, monkey? I thought you were going to kill me." Those words only made Vegeta angrier. Deflecting all of Frieza's attacks, Vegeta suddenly vanished and appeared behind him. He slammed a powerful punch into Frieza's back, knocking him forward. Immediately afterwards, Vegeta fired a massive energy ball at him. Frieza quickly responded with an energy blast of his own. The two attacks collided, creating violent shockwaves. Gradually, Frieza's energy ball began overpowering Vegeta's attack. Refusing to lose, Vegeta increased his power even further and gave one final push. His blast completely overwhelmed Frieza's attack and struck Frieza directly with tremendous force.
At the same time, Goku arrived at Zeno's palace, where Zeno and the Grand Priest were discussing the enemy's intentions. The Grand Priest admitted that none of the enemy's actions made complete sense. Zeno suggested that they review everything from the beginning. As they analyzed the events, they realized that although Fu had initially tried to capture Goku, he later abandoned that goal and kidnapped Vegeta instead. Goku joined the discussion and admitted that he was confused as well. He understood why they wanted him, since Nurko's power was sealed inside him, but he could not understand why they took Vegeta. Then Goku casually mentioned that Vegeta always called himself Prince Vegeta because his father had been the king of the Saiyans. Hearing that, the Grand Priest suddenly became thoughtful. He said that this might be the answer. The Grand Priest began speaking about an ancient being known as the First Saiyan, a legendary warrior whose power was said to rival even the guards of the Omni King. According to ancient legends, the First Saiyan's power could be manifested again through Saiyan blood, but doing so required royal blood. Immediately, Goku realized the possible connection, so that's why they took Vegeta. The Grand Priest nodded and explained that the enemy was likely planning to use Vegeta's royal Saiyan blood. Then they would transfer Nurko's power from Goku and revive him completely inside Vegeta's body. If they succeeded in manifesting the First Saiyan's power as well, the threat would become far greater than anything they had faced before. Just then, the fake Nurko suddenly appeared inside Zeno's palace. Everyone was surprised by his sudden arrival. Goku, unaware that this was not the real Vegeta standing before him, smiled and said, "Hey Vegeta, it's good to see you again." Goku happily greeted Vegeta and asked how he had managed to return. The moment Goku said that, the Grand Priest immediately stopped him from approaching. He warned everyone that the person standing before them was not Vegeta at all, but an imposter. Goku was shocked and asked what he meant. The Grand Priest explained that this being belonged to a clan capable of perfectly copying the appearance and energy of other people. Their abilities had once made them extremely dangerous, which is why their entire race was supposedly wiped out. However, somehow a few of them had survived. The disguised being pretended to be confused and insisted that he was really Vegeta. Even Goku admitted that he did not know what to believe because the energy felt exactly like Vegeta's. The Grand Priest explained that the clan could copy not only appearances, but also energy signatures perfectly. He warned Goku to stay close to Whis because if the enemy succeeded in taking him away, everything would be lost. Hearing that, the imposter smiled and admitted that the Grand Priest already knew the truth. He said he was tired of remaining in Vegeta's form and transformed back into his true appearance. Revealing himself, he introduced himself as Heart. Then he explained that when their entire planet had been mercilessly destroyed, Lord Nurko had saved the survivors and granted them power so they could seek revenge. Because of that debt, Heart had devoted himself completely to Nurko's cause. Without wasting any more time, Heart launched a powerful attack against the Grand Priest. He moved at incredible speed and threw a devastating punch. The Grand Priest blocked it with one hand and counterattacked.
but Heart effortlessly dodged and landed a flying kick directly to the Grand Priest's face. The force of the blow sent the Grand Priest crashing into a wall. Everyone was shocked because Heart had never been known as a powerful warrior. His race was not famous for combat ability. The Grand Priest admitted that Heart's power had increased far beyond what should have been possible. However, he calmly stated that even such strength would not be enough to defeat him. The Grand Priest instantly teleported behind Heart and launched a massive energy blast. Yet Heart had already created a protective barrier around himself, completely blocking the attack without suffering even a scratch. Soon, the two engaged in an intense hand-to-hand battle. Heart repeatedly tried to trap the Grand Priest inside a cube-like prison, but the Grand Priest escaped every attempt and continued attacking.
As the battle intensified, the Grand Priest unleashed a technique similar to a solar flare. The entire area became filled with blinding light. Unable to see, Heart was caught off guard, allowing the Grand Priest to strike him with a gigantic energy sphere. A massive explosion followed, shaking the entire palace and surrounding area. When the smoke cleared, Heart appeared heavily injured. Realizing he could not win in his current state, he decided to use a special power. Extending his hand, he summoned a small energy sphere and absorbed it into his body. For a brief moment, everything became completely silent. Then, an enormous surge of energy erupted from him. The pressure generated by Heart's new power shocked everyone watching. The Grand Priest immediately sensed danger and ordered Whis to protect Goku no matter what happened. Before anyone could react, Heart suddenly appeared beside the Grand Priest in a new transformed state and struck him with a single punch powerful enough to send him flying out of the palace. Heart then began moving toward Goku, but the Grand Priest instantly returned and blocked his path. Standing in front of him, the Grand Priest calmly said that there was no need to rush and that he wanted to see the true extent of Heart's new power. Both warriors began increasing their energy, and as their powers collided, enormous waves of force spread throughout the entire area. After that, the two began exchanging attacks at a speed that was impossible to follow. Watching the battle, Goku admitted that their speed was far beyond his limits. Meanwhile, Heart launched a new attack using his cubes. The attack was so powerful that entire sections of the palace vanished with each blast. As the fight continued, the Grand Priest began taking more and more damage. Seeing the damage piling up, Heart declared that this was revenge for everything that had been done to his race. He swore that the Grand Priest would die for it. The Grand Priest realized that Heart's attacks were becoming increasingly dangerous. Heart mocked him and said that before he became incapable of fighting, he should use his full power or he would regret it later. Heart rushed forward and launched a relentless assault. For the first time, the Grand Priest was having difficulty countering every attack. Finally, he decided that he could no longer hold back. He admitted that he never imagined he would have to release his full power to defeat a member of the Anurai clan. However, before doing so, he ordered everyone else to leave the palace because it would not survive what was about to happen. Once everyone had moved outside, the Grand Priest began releasing his full power. His energy continued rising until a massive explosion erupted. The pressure of his power spread across the entire multiverse. Every god of destruction sensed it immediately. They became alarmed because the energy felt different from the Grand Priest's previous displays of power. Unable to understand what was happening, many of them rushed toward Zeno's palace. Heart smiled as he watched the Grand Priest power up. He said that he was glad the Grand Priest was finally serious because he wanted to defeat him at his absolute strongest. Only then would the Grand Priest truly understand the hatred his people carried. Heart recalled the destruction of his planet and the screams of his people. He swore that no matter what happened, he would revive Lord Nurko and place him on the throne that rightfully belonged to him. The battle resumed with even greater intensity. Every clash between them created shockwaves powerful enough to turn nearby planets into dust. Heart's power was unbelievable. Even with the Grand Priest using his full strength, Heart was fighting him on equal footing. At one point,
the Grand Priest fired a powerful energy sphere at him, but Heart casually stopped it with a single hand and mocked him. He asked if that was really the Grand Priest's full power, because if it was, he would never be able to win. Instead of becoming angry, the Grand Priest smiled. Heart questioned why he was smiling and asked whether he truly believed he could win with that level of power. Suddenly, chains appeared from nowhere and wrapped themselves around Heart. Shocked, Heart could not understand what had happened. He had not sensed any energy at all and could not figure out where the chains had come from. The Grand Priest calmly replied that if Heart could not even understand how the chains had reached him, then he would never be able to defeat him. Hearing that, Heart quickly realized the truth. He remembered the energy sphere the Grand Priest had fired earlier. It had not been a normal attack at all. When Heart had destroyed it, the energy had broken apart into countless microscopic particles that spread around him unnoticed. Heart admitted that the strategy was impressive. However, he smiled confidently and asked if the Grand Priest truly believed that a few chains created from those particles would be enough to stop him. The Grand Priest calmly replied that if Heart truly believed he could break the chains and free himself, then he was welcome to try. Hearing this, Heart immediately began struggling against the chains. However, the more force he applied, the tighter the chains became. As a result, Heart started having serious difficulty escaping.
Watching him struggle, the Grand Priest said that he had already warned him that those chains could not be broken. He then declared that Heart's time had come to an end. Raising his hand, the Grand Priest began gathering an enormous amount of energy into a single sphere. Seeing this, Heart desperately tried to free himself, but no matter how hard he struggled, he could not escape. At the same time, the power Heart had gained from merging with the energy sphere was also beginning to fade away. Even if he somehow managed to break free, he no longer possessed enough strength to defeat the Grand Priest. Realizing this, Heart could only watch as the Grand Priest launched the massive energy sphere directly at him. Heart was struck by the attack and engulfed by a tremendous explosion. The blast was so powerful that it seemed to shake the entire multiverse. When the dust settled, Heart was lying on the ground in terrible condition. He admitted that even after using all of his power, he still could not defeat the Grand Priest. Knowing that his end was near, Heart decided to reveal an important secret. He told the Grand Priest that no one could completely stop Nurko's revival, but it could be delayed. According to him, Nurko would return exactly 5 years later. Heart then summoned a small energy sphere and handed it to the Grand Priest. He explained that if the sphere was placed inside Goku, it would temporarily seal Nurko's power. However, it would also prevent Goku from using those powers himself. After giving the warning, Heart slowly began turning into dust. Before disappearing completely, he reminded everyone that Nurko's revival was inevitable. The Grand Priest wanted to ask how Nurko would return, but Heart vanished before he could answer. Following Heart's instructions, the Grand Priest sealed the energy sphere inside Goku, temporarily locking away Nurko's power. Meanwhile, in another dimension, Vegeta and Frieza were still locked in an intense battle. Vegeta unleashed a final flash and managed to defeat Frieza, leaving him badly injured on the ground. Frieza could not believe that a Saiyan had pushed him into such a condition. Slowly, standing back up, he admitted that he never expected to use this form against a Saiyan. He then began powering up. A golden aura surrounded his body as he transformed into golden form. Seeing this, Vegeta smirked and declared that Frieza was mistaken if he thought that form would be enough to defeat him. He then increased his own power and transformed into Super Saiyan God.
Frieza was both shocked and frustrated by the transformation. He immediately rushed forward and attacked. The two exchanged countless blows, and Vegeta fought evenly against Golden Frieza. Frieza was amazed that Vegeta could match his strongest form. During the battle, Vegeta deflected Frieza's attacks and fired a powerful energy blast that sent Frieza crashing into the ground. Looking down at him, Vegeta mocked Frieza, saying
saying that he thought Frieza wanted to kill him, but at this rate, he would not last much longer. Frieza simply smiled and asked whether Vegeta really believed he could win with that level of power. In the next instant, Frieza appeared directly in front of Vegeta and delivered a devastating punch. However, Vegeta caught the punch with one hand and confidently declared that Frieza had made a mistake if he thought he could defeat Prince Vegeta. The battle intensified once again as both warriors launched relentless attacks. Vegeta fired numerous energy blasts, but Frieza dodged them and landed a heavy strike to Vegeta's stomach. Even then, Frieza did not stop and continued attacking without giving Vegeta a moment to recover. Seeing Frieza fight like that, Vegeta realized that Frieza was not even using his full power yet. Not wanting to give him the chance to unleash everything, Vegeta immediately began attacking with all the power he had left. Frieza was confused by the sudden change because Vegeta had suddenly become much more aggressive. Vegeta launched one powerful attack after another, making it difficult for Frieza to defend himself properly. Vegeta gave Frieza no time to recover and soon fired an extremely powerful energy blast. Frieza responded with an energy attack of his own, and the two blasts collided, creating an enormous shockwave. At first, the attacks seemed evenly matched, but Vegeta kept pouring more and more power into his blast. He wanted to defeat Frieza before he could reach his full strength. Watching Vegeta desperately push his limits made Frieza furious. He admitted that he had not intended to use his full power, but he was now willing to do so just to erase Vegeta once and for all. Then Frieza released his power at maximum output. A tremendous explosion of energy erupted from him. The blast was so overwhelming that Vegeta was forced back into his base form and crashed to the ground, badly injured.
Frieza approached the fallen Saiyan and laughed. He said that this was the fate of anyone foolish enough to challenge the evil Emperor Frieza. Then he added that if Vegeta was alive, perhaps other Saiyans might still be alive as well, and he would have to eliminate them before they could stand in his way. Hearing this, Vegeta became confused and asked why was Frieza acting so strangely. He reminded Frieza that they had fought before and that Frieza should remember what had happened. Inside his mind, Frieza was confused as well. Ever since meeting Vegeta, the Saiyan had been talking as if they had known each other for years. Frieza also wondered how Vegeta knew about his golden form. Nothing about the situation made any sense to it. At that moment, Vegeta suddenly heard a mysterious voice speaking directly into his mind. The voice asked what had happened to him and whether he was truly the son of King Vegeta. Shocked, Vegeta looked around and demanded to know who was speaking. The voice refused to identify itself and instead asked if he was really Prince Vegeta. It told him to get back on his feet because someone like Frieza should never be able to defeat him. Vegeta shouted back at the voice, telling it to be quiet and stop telling him what to do. However, he admitted that he was currently not strong enough to defeat Frieza. The voice continued speaking, asking whether Vegeta truly wanted to lose his planet and his people again. It questioned whether all the pride he had in his Saiyan heritage had been nothing more than an act. The voice challenged him further, asking if he seriously intended to die at the hands of the same Frieza who had destroyed the Saiyan race. It demanded to know whether he was actually afraid of fighting him. Those words finally struck a nerve. Vegeta angrily shouted that he was not afraid of Frieza and that he would never accept such an insult. Suddenly, Vegeta grabbed his shirt as a strange feeling spread through his body. He asked himself what was happening and what this unfamiliar sensation was. Meanwhile, Frieza could not understand what Vegeta was doing. Vegeta stood completely still, unresponsive to everything around him, as if he had fallen into a deep unconscious state, while something mysterious awakened within him.
Meanwhile, Frieza's attack was slowly moving toward Vegeta. At the same time, Vegeta continued hearing the mysterious voice that kept telling him he did not truly understand his own potential. The voice repeated those words over and over until Vegeta entered a strange state where he completely lost awareness of everything around him. Frieza took advantage of this opportunity and launched a finishing attack. Vegeta stood motionless, completely unaware that the attack was approaching him. Even Frieza became confused by Vegeta's strange behavior. Moments later, the energy ball completely engulfed Vegeta. Seeing this, Frieza laughed and declared that monkeys like Saiyans could never defeat superior beings like him. However, Frieza's confidence did not last long. Something strange began happening inside the energy sphere. Frieza watched in confusion as an enormous amount of power started leaking out from within it. The pressure of that power instantly reduced the energy ball to dust and triggered a massive explosion. From the center of the explosion emerged Vegeta. Purple energy surrounded his entire body, and even his hair had transformed into purple color. Frieza could not believe what he was seeing. Before Vegeta could even make a move, Frieza unleashed a relentless barrage of energy blasts. He did not stop there, and immediately began using every technique he knew. It was as if Frieza had already sensed how dangerous this new form was. Refusing to give Vegeta any chance to attack, he continuously assaulted him with everything he had. Frieza probably never felt such fear in his entire life. After unleashing all those attacks, he looked at Vegeta again and was left completely shocked because none of his attacks had done any damage. Vegeta calmly looked at him and said, "Nice massage, Frieza." Hearing just those words made Frieza question his very existence. The same Frieza whose name alone could spread terror throughout the universe was now doubting himself. Throwing away his pride and arrogance, he focused on only one goal: defeating the warrior standing before him. In the next second, Frieza attacked at full speed and delivered an incredibly powerful punch. Vegeta casually caught it with one hand. Then he responded with a punch so powerful that Frieza's entire jaw shook. Vegeta followed up with a storm of punches. If one strike had enough to shake Frieza's jaw, the barrage that followed shook his entire body. Despite all his efforts, Frieza could do nothing against Vegeta. Within moments, Vegeta left him in terrible condition. Frieza collapsed unconscious onto the ground. Yet only a second later, he forced himself back to his feet. His desire to defeat Vegeta had become so overwhelming that his body continued attacking, even without the guidance of his own consciousness. In short, Frieza's body began attacking Vegeta on its own. Even though Frieza himself was unconscious, his body continued fighting automatically. Seeing this, Vegeta was shocked because he had never heard of a situation where someone's body could move and fight without consciousness. Surprisingly, Frieza was fighting even better in his unconscious state than he had while conscious. Watching this made Vegeta excited, and he began enjoying the battle even more. His behavior in this new form had become noticeably different. He once again rushed at Frieza and unleashed a barrage of punches. However, this time Frieza surprisingly dodged all of them and successfully landed a punch of his own. Seeing that, Vegeta became even more excited, and the two resumed exchanging powerful blows. After some time, Frieza suddenly collapsed onto the ground. Technically, he had already been unconscious, but until now, his body had been reacting and fighting on its own. Seeing Frieza lying there, Vegeta said that Frieza had passed out before he could fully enjoy the fight. He decided it was finally time to end things and prepared to finish him off. Just then, the mysterious voice spoke again. It told Vegeta that he had not yet reached his final state and that his current power represented only 10% of his true potential. The voice promised that it would draw out Vegeta's full power no matter what. At that moment, a strange Dragon Ball suddenly appeared and attached itself to Frieza's chest. It looked completely different from any normal Dragon Ball. Soon after, Frieza stood back up. Vegeta became happy because it meant the fight could continue. He immediately struck Frieza with a powerful punch, but surprisingly, Frieza had become much stronger than before. Vegeta's attacks had no effect at all. Instead of becoming frustrated, Vegeta laughed wildly and continued attacking without stopping. It seemed that the true nature of his new transformation was beginning to reveal
itself. The most shocking part was that Frieza and Vegeta were now fighting as complete equals. Neither wanted to give the other an opening, and both were taking heavy damage. If the battle continued like this, it was impossible to tell who would fall first. Whoever exhausted their strength first would inevitably lose, and neither warrior was willing to accept defeat.
However, Vegeta's power gradually began to decrease. He knew almost nothing about this new transformation and therefore could not release its full potential. Frieza, on the other hand, fought like a machine, attacking continuously without pause. As Vegeta's strength declined, Frieza slowly gained the upper hand. Even then, Vegeta did not try to overpower Frieza directly. Realizing that he could not defeat him through raw power alone, he started using different tricks and tactics. Frieza simply endured every attack and kept advancing. His fighting style had completely changed. The power that had once flowed through his body uncontrollably was now being used perfectly. It was as though that power had finally found the ideal vessel. In short, all of Frieza's energy had become concentrated into a single point. Because of that concentration, his attacks had become far more destructive and dangerous than ever before. If Vegeta did not do something quickly, he would not be able to continue much longer. Realizing this, he began gathering all of his remaining power for one final attack. Even while watching Vegeta prepare such a powerful move, Frieza remained standing calmly in place, almost as if he were telling Vegeta that no matter what he tried, he would never be able to defeat him. Vegeta then unleashed one of his most powerful attacks, the Final Flash. The impact of the attack was so great that the entire dimension began shaking and splitting apart. If the attack had just a little bit more power, cracks might have formed throughout the dimension itself. After the blast, Frieza was shown in an extremely injured state. Looking at him, it seemed impossible that he would ever be able to stand again. However, what happened next completely shocked Vegeta. Despite his condition, Frieza began trying to get back on his feet. Even after suffering such devastating damage, there was not a single expression on his face. It was impossible to tell whether this strange behavior was caused by the Dragon Ball attached to his chest or by something else entirely. Eventually, Frieza managed to stand up once again. Vegeta was not in good condition either. Using the Final Flash had drained him completely, forcing him back into his base form. Even so, Frieza appeared to be in worse shape than Vegeta. Believing victory was finally within reach, Vegeta tried to move toward him and finish the battle. However, the moment he attempted to take a step forward, he collapsed to the ground because there was no strength left in his legs.
Frieza slowly walked toward Vegeta, taking small steps. As he reached him, he began preparing an energy blast to finish him off. Before he could fire it, the strange Dragon Ball attached to his chest suddenly shattered into countless tiny fragments. At the same moment, Frieza lost consciousness and collapsed beside Vegeta. Seeing this, Vegeta finally let out a sigh of relief. He had truly believed that Frieza was about to kill him. Soon afterward, the mysterious voice spoke to Vegeta once again. It told him that for now, this was enough. His powers had awakened, and once he fully recovered, his real training would begin. Immediately after that, several chains appeared out of nowhere and wrapped around Frieza, binding him completely. The scene shifted to Zeno's palace. After Heart's death, the Grand Priest decided that he would search for the remaining surviving members of the ancient clan and keep them under observation. His battle with Heart had shown him the clan's true potential. Since nobody knew exactly how Naroko would eventually be revived, the Grand Priest wanted to gather as much strength as possible before that day arrived. He hoped to build a force capable of standing against Naroko when the time came. The Grand Priest ordered all the gods of destruction to train any powerful fighters they could find within their universes. He also decided to personally train a select group of warriors, taking Goku with him. The Grand Priest traveled across different universes, searching for the strongest fighters. He selected Hit from Universe 6, Goku from Universe 7, and several other exceptional warriors to prepare for the coming war. As time passed, everyone began preparing for the inevitable conflict ahead. Meanwhile, somewhere else, one of Naroko's royal guards finally awakened. The awakening of a royal guard was a clear sign that Naroko's revival was no longer far away.
Hey guys, I really hope you had liked this video. If you liked it, don't forget to like or subscribe. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Bye.